Hey, what's up, guys? This is Woodie Landeros. Before I play this podcast, I just wanted to share with you guys a little mini failure that I just went through about 5 minutes ago. I didn't realize that my camera could only record for 30 minutes, so anything after that is just audio. But first, you need to shut up and fail before you're allowed and succeed. Enjoy the podcast, guys. Hey, what's up, guys? You guys are listening to Shut Up and Fail with Woodie Landeros. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Daniel Martinez, owner of FreshBot. How's it going, Daniel?
It's going good.
Good.
It's nice to be here.
So, who are you? Like, owner of Daniel FreshBot. What do you do for, FreshBot, owner of FreshBot. What do you do for FreshBot?
What do I do for FreshBot? I guess I'm the creative director at FreshBot, which is also my own company, so I can give myself whatever title.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say creative director of FreshBot, which is kind of like a creative / project management company.
So for the people that don't know exactly what creative director do, like what they do every single day, can you kind of bring them through like your regular day routine? Like, what does it look like on a daily basis?
Like what I do every day?
Yeah, what do you do every day?
I wake up, I check my email, I check in with my clients, who it can vary anywhere between having to check in between 1 to 4 or 5 clients a day, just checking on whatever progress or where we're at with the project. Those projects can vary from a website to logo design, anything kind of creative in that creative atmosphere.
So what would you say that your most favorite part is, like, about your career? Like, what do you enjoy the most?
That it's different every day. It's not the same thing every day. A lot of the processes are the same.
Yeah.
But like the project is different every day. Even if it's the same overall project, the task that I'm doing that day is completely different from the task I did yesterday or the day before that.
Can you give an example? Like a logo design or a campaign of some sort?
Yeah, if I'm doing, like, I just recently did a campaign for my friend Gabriel. You guys should check it out. It's telavivsound.com. It's he's a musician, and he just finished his first music video.
Yeah.
And I did everything as part of his overall branding package and campaign. So one day I was working on the website, the next day I was working on his cover art, and the day after that I was working on posters to post around LA. So
yeah, you guys should really check out all of his work. I want you to go and just say your website so that they can.
My website. Yeah. DanielFreshBot.com. That's the word fresh and then bot as in robot. So
did you came up with the name Daniel FreshBot?
Yeah, well, Daniel's my name, and then
I keep on messing up on that. I just know you as Daniel FreshBot.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I came up with the name FreshBot through another venture. We were a clothing brand at first, and we could still be a clothing brand, but just right now we're running as a creative agency. Yeah.
So what are you most known for?
On merchandise design. So I actually work a lot in the field of designing your favorite T-shirts, and usually for musicians, but it can vary anywhere from musicians to larger companies. Anyone that's looking to get some sort of a merchandise done. Most of the time it's T-shirts though. So
nice.
T-shirts.
What kind of you said larger companies. What kind of large companies have you worked with?
So I mean, I have my creative agency stuff, but I also work with another company that I work for on a regular basis, and I've worked, Capitol Records, Netflix.
Netflix?
Yeah.
I did not even know that.
Yeah. Just like
you should put that on your website.
Yeah, I should. It's like contractual stuff. It's nothing like super hands-on creative, but it was like work that I did for those companies to make sure that their merchandise got done.
That's awesome. So, I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite project? Like, what's the project that you're most proud of? Like, if you had to pick one project throughout your entire career, because I know I have, some videos that I have on my website, or some videos that I have of me dancing that I'm like, this is that one project that I can tell anyone to look at? What's that project for you?
Up until now, because I would say right now, it's not done, so I won't call it my favorite, but the one that I'm working on with Gabriel is my favorite, just off of like everything that we're doing. But I guess my favorite project would be, um, I had a clothing brand that we were running for a while, and it was the last lineup that I did. That was probably my favorite project. It was the biggest one that we did, and it was probably the most meticulous one that we did. It got
Hmm.
really like detailed. I got to do everything
Yeah.
from the little tiny packaging for some pins all the way up to like the larger website
Hmm.
and the e-commerce and all of that. And it took months of work, and it was really fun to release, and it was really cool to get everyone involved. That was my favorite project up
Yeah.
until that point.
So
And
what brand was that, or what company was that?
well, it is Freshbot, but I guess the brand was called Freshbot Coalition. So it was two brands mixed together.
Hmm.
Um, but that was my favorite project that I ever did.
Yeah. When was this?
That was 2015, the end of 2015.
Did we even know each other?
I knew you, or actually,
Yeah,
maybe I met you
we
right
like
after, right around that time.
yeah, it was maybe a few months after.
Yeah,
Because I was looking at the stuff that you were doing, completely inspired.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I
I
was
mean,
looking at your
anybody,
stuff, and I was inspired.
it's crazy. Anybody that's listening to this, please, please, please go check out his stuff. It is crazy. What I love most about art is when you can see the thought process it takes in an artist's mind. So what I saw in Daniel's work was the attention to detail. And my goodness, I have OCD when it comes down to detail. That is why I love
It,
Daniel's work.
it's a gift and a curse, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I do
it
love
definitely
detail,
is.
but sometimes you got to step away from it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. I
That's what I had
appreciate
to
those
do with
words.
Woody's journey.
Yeah.
Like I mean, some of the projects that I put out, I'm not even confident about, but
It
I know it has to go out there.
it's good that you're doing
Like
something every day, though.
it's scary.
Yeah.
I'm freaking scared.
Why?
I'm so scared because once you just start releasing, it's like if everybody saw all the little projects that you made throughout the process of making a logo. The beginning
Oh,
ones, you would feel like they're judging you, or
yeah.
that they're incorrect, or that they're not creative, but it's a big process that you have to go through all the way until the final result. I've seen your graph of logos, the way it evolves throughout time, and the last one and the first one usually look completely different.
Yeah.
And it's scary to be able to grab the first one and say, "Hey, what do you guys think?"
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
for
like
sure.
that's 100% vulnerability
But
on my part.
that's the best part, though. You grow from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll never be. I mean, if it's bad, you'll never be that bad again.
Yeah.
So,
So, sticking with the topic of logos, how long does that usually take? Like, I know that it's a big deal for a company to come up to you and ask for a logo. What type of process do you go through, or what things do you ask the person for in order to be able to create this?
so it depends on how long it takes. It could take honestly a couple of hours. It
Mm-hmm.
could take a couple of days. It could take weeks. It just depends on who I'm doing it for and what they're looking to get out of it.
Hmm.
Uh, some people are satisfied with the first version of something, and other people want like 10 revisions before they
Yeah.
get to what they want. Um,
How do you handle that? Like, I know that when you create, like for myself, if I create something, like criticism is so hard, and
yeah.
to be as like a creative director, and like just by sending something and automatically receiving feedback. I know I've sent you stuff back like in a millisecond and said I want this change. Where's the point where it becomes their fault or your fault? Like, how do you justify continuing on with their recommendation and like what you think the
Um,
logo needs?
so they're hiring you to do two things. They're hiring you to create their logo, but also be an advisor.
Hmm.
They're expecting you to have the experience to know
Yeah.
what you're doing, and to have the confidence to tell them, no, I don't think you should go in that direction. Ultimately, it is their decision.
Yeah.
You can't really have an ego. Someone's gonna always tell you what they don't like about something, and you got to be ready to fix it and pivot and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Did you By handling this, like, right now and when you first started out, was it the same process, or did you have to go through something where you had to take yourself off of the chair, pretty much? Like, were you always just okay with taking criticism, or did you ever have a
Um,
moment in the beginning where you were like, "No, this is correct. This is correct."
yeah, I think not one particular moment, but
Yeah.
I would say when you first start out, especially if you're really confident about what you're doing, you definitely feel like everything you do is correct. But I guess the more you mature and the more that you do it, the more you know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Even when you're done, you know something's wrong. Even as confident as you are, there's something wrong. I need someone's opinion
Mhm.
to figure out what it is. Sometimes you do know what's wrong right
Yeah.
away, and sometimes you get the perfect thing on the first
Yeah.
try.
Is it 100% your opinion, or have you ever asked other people, like, "What do you think about this?" or "What do you think about that?" Is it
So I'm not asking for their opinion. I am asking for their opinion. I'm not asking for them to give me an answer.
Yeah.
I'm looking for their reaction,
Hmm.
and
I see.
depending on their reaction, that's what I'll make my adjustment.
Yeah.
So sometimes I ask for their reaction, hoping that they'll give me a certain reaction.
Mhm.
So sometimes if someone hates something, I'm actually looking for that person to hate it in a particular way.
Hmm.
And if it does click, I won't
Yeah.
tell them, but if it does click, then I know
Yeah.
I know what I was doing. I did it correctly.
Shit. You can come, you bring it.
Okay, I was trying to wait for like a natural break.
No, no, no. I
There,
think I think it's kinda natural. Thank you.
there's no such thing as natural breaks.
I quoted your ex
Ooh,
comment on Instagram.
We'll see it later.
alright. So, continuing, that was Rebecca, she just brought me my phone. Sorry for all of you audio listeners.
Yeah.
But, so we were talking about, oh yeah, the beginning stages and then the stages that you are, going through currently. I wanted to ask you straight and forward, because this is shut up and fail. What I believe is that you must shut up and fail before you're allowed and succeed. And I think it takes a moment to put your head down and be okay with failing in order to cross over to succeeding. So I wanted to ask you straightforward, what do you think your biggest failure has been so far in this career?
Uh, okay. I have a story that's not necessarily the biggest failure, but it's a story of resilience.
Let's hear it.
Um, I used to screen print
Hmm.
um, in my garage, or well, I had like a studio where I would screen print. And The first time I got like a really big client, it must have been like 200 t-shirts or something. It wasn't anything crazy, but for me at the time,
Yeah, that's a
it was
lot for your garage,
yeah,
like,
it was a
or the
lot. It
studio.
was a lot for the first time
Yeah.
that I did it. Um, and I remember taking the job on, not 100% being sure that I was going to be able to like pull through on it.
Yeah.
But and I remember with screen printing, there's this process of printing ink onto t-shirts,
Hmm.
and there's a final process where you have to cure the ink with a heating device to make sure that it's 100% and it's good to be passed on to your client. And So my biggest fear was, because of this particular ink that I was using, that I wasn't gonna be able to cure it properly.
Hmm.
So I take on the job. It's the biggest job I've ever had, and I remember that month probably working, because I was working full time at another job. I remember maybe working, honestly, like 80 hours a week. It was crazy. I would get home and go to work, and like nothing. I would go work at the place I was working at in my day to 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and then I would get home and work from like 5 to 2 in the morning sometimes. And it was really cool to just like devote yourself to something, and
Yeah.
I felt really good about what I was doing. I was figuring out a lot of problems that you would come across when you do something like that.
Yeah.
And then I remember at the same time, okay, so I got that 200-piece order. Then at that same exact time, I got a 100-piece order.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I took it all on at once. I was going to get it done, and I was confident that I was going to get the entire thing done. And so I'm running high, everything's getting done on time,
Yeah.
and I'm running on schedule. And I just remember from one night, like I must have been up. It was like 11,
Hmm.
and I get a text from my client, because I had already passed him a few shirts.
Yeah.
I gave him a batch of shirts, and he texts me to tell me that the t-shirts had washed off.
Oh my gosh.
and it was like my biggest
That's
fear.
a hard drop.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to solve the problem because I didn't know the solution.
Yeah.
And I remember just that was like low. Like damn, I didn't want this to happen. This was the one thing I didn't want to happen, and here I am in this situation. And I just and not only that, I still had the other 100 to do, and
Mhm.
I was at some point I think I reached the point where like because you're contemplating what do I do, how do I fix this. I was contemplating just giving up all the jobs, giving them their money back. Forget it. I'll take the loss, and I'll just never do this again. But I don't know. Like I'm really proud of myself in that moment for having the resilience to say no. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
And I spent the next day just looking everything up.
I feel like most people would. You see, what I feel like a lot of people are going through is they get opportunities flying past them. I know if they've passed myself, and they come as challenges with titles of, fear or fear of failure,
Yeah,
fear of loss.
yeah,
And by taking them and again becoming 100% vulnerable, you have a possibility that you're going to fail,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
you're going to get past it.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing. Like you almost like know like I'm probably going to fail.
Yeah,
Like I don't even know if I can handle 300 t-shirts,
yeah,
but you still do it, and that's what I think that's what like separates you as opposed to like maybe even I mean if you would have asked me that a year ago, and I would be a screen print, I would have a screen printing machine, and I would be doing this business, I would have probably backed off because I would have had this fear.
sure. And
It's scary.
I easily could have backed off, and I just remember like I remember the moment thinking to myself because it was really cool. It's almost like cinematic. I'm by myself. It's like 11 o'clock at night. It's cold. There's no air
We should make a
conditioning.
movie,
Yeah, I don't know if it's enough to make a movie about it, but
a short film.
I remember thinking like, damn, what do I do? And I remember thinking to myself, no, like you're going to figure this out.
Hmm.
You're going to find a way through this.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, I spent the next day just doing the research and a couple of trial and error, but I figured it out. And I did manage to deliver on that. I had to replace the shirts I messed up.
Yeah.
But I figured out how to solve the problem. And you know, I got paid very well. I used all of that money to pay the down payment on my car.
Nice.
And that's a moment I'm really proud of because
Yeah.
I went in knowing that there's a possibility I might fail. I did fail,
Yeah.
but I also out of that figured out that there's always a way out.
Hmm.
You can always figure a way out. Just do it,
Hmm.
and even if you get to that low point,
Yeah.
you'll find if you're I mean, maybe you're not the right kind of person, but I think for the most part, most people that apply themselves can find a way out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
And so I always think about that. Whenever something goes wrong, I think about that moment and how I felt and how I got myself back up.
When you said climbing into it, I don't know if this is going to be completely off topic, but this is the first thing that popped in my head. When you said climbing out of it, imagine me like a gold mining.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm digging far. I'm digging far. I don't know if I'm gonna reach it. I don't know if I'm gonna reach it. And if you turn around, you're just gonna go back with a dirt face.
But you'll never
But
go
if you
if you
go
don't dig.
through,
Yeah,
you might just hit the gold.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
especially if it's something that you're passionate about. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if that's a good analogy
It-
because you might just dig a really deep hole. But I think that,
at least you dug the hole.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't do anything.
Mm,
They're just kind of wander through life and they're not really sure when the right time to do something is. They kind of just, my biggest fear is hesitation. And I think that's like what dictates my life.
hmm.
If you hesitate, you will fail.
Yeah. Did you hesitate in that one moment?
Where?
When you were receiving the 200 shirt order, the 100 shirt
Oh, yeah,
order,
yeah.
did you have a moment where you
I don't
sat
know if I
there
can do this.
and freaked out?
Yeah, well, I didn't know if I could do this. I definitely
Yeah.
freaked out when I like didn't get it right.
How
But
how did you handle that?
what?
Like, how did you handle your that fear or that frustration or just being in that moment?
Part of okay, so you got to live through the fear a little bit. Give it a couple of minutes. Then afterwards, go talk to someone, preferably someone that might know the solution.
Hmm.
Um, maybe someone that doesn't know the solution. Just talk it out. It helps to talk problems out with someone,
Yeah.
just to like
Did you talk to someone, or who did you talk to?
Yeah, I mean, I went home and I talked to my mom and I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Um, I don't even know how to fix this. And like, just me not be like her not being the one that was freaked out could just be like, oh, well, what, think with a level head.
Yeah.
What would you do to solve this? And I kind of came up with a couple of solutions. It was late at night, so I just went to bed. And the next morning, I texted a couple people who could maybe help me with my problem. Um, and I ended up not needing any of their help. I ended up figuring it out by myself. But
Hmm.
I think it does help if you do find a roadblock to maybe talk it out with someone,
Yeah.
someone who is cool with bouncing ideas back and forth until you find the solution. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be with everyone. You can't do it with everyone, but there's some particular people where if you hit a roadblock, they're pretty helpful to call to just kind of get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel like whenever I have an issue with designing a logo or designing a website or any sort of creative commentary that I'm searching for, I always come to you
Yeah.
because I feel like you've been through, like I see it in 3 steps. First is like realizing, just being honest with yourself,
Yeah.
just being self-aware, like, okay, I am in this state. And then second is getting better, because once you know what's wrong, then you can get better. And then third is helping others.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
The
as
third's the
if
best part.
you've been able to, and this doesn't just come one time. I mean, it comes in waves
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
waves and waves throughout your life. But I know that you've went through a point of, I know where I'm at. I'm about to get better. I'm getting better, or I am better in this, little subcategory. And then now it's time to help people. And I see that with your entire creative agency. Like you're just there to help people. Like they're all lost and scared and nervous about their brand. And I mean, it's nerve wracking. I've built multiple. I mean, I don't want to say like big companies, but I've made small brands where I've tried to
Or
launch them, and it's so nerve wracking because you live in this analysis paralysis where you don't even grab the paintbrush, and you're already judging the art.
yeah. And I would also note that when you teach someone or when you guide someone, you're learning just as much as they are.
Yeah.
In the process of teaching someone, you're not only learning how to teach, but you're also kind of reviewing all of your notes.
Hmm.
You don't really have a lot of time to review your notes in a
Yeah.
regular day-to-day setting. You're just kind of thinking off of instinct, but when you are showing someone and you are explaining something to someone, you have to pull from those notes. And just doing that reaffirms everything that you know,
Yeah.
and it makes you that much better.
Hmm.
It's like just going through everything again one more time just to make sure that you got it down.
Yeah. Definitely.
And if it works for them, then you definitely got it down.
Hmm.
And you know that this definitely works. If I've done it twice now and it works, it
Yeah.
works.
It's a whole nother level of satisfaction when you help someone else.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know if I've really talked to you about Woody's journey, but pretty much Woody's journey is based off of what I see in this world. Right now, we have a lot of people trying to navigate other people, like saying, I know exactly what you should do. But what I've been doing is saying, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to try,
Yeah.
and I feel like in that way that you're like 100% honest and teaching people, I'm learning so much, like getting advice from other people and being like, "Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can I get some help?" And it's always great having people like you with quick responses. I mean, I text you and you text me back and you're like, "This is what you should do."
Yeah, it's like why have all this expertise or all this knowledge
Hmm.
and you never use it? I love helping people, and I just have a client right now that I'm working with, and he's never done anything like right now it's for merchandise and stuff,
Yeah.
um, and he's never done anything like that, so he doesn't know anything about it,
Hmm.
and so I'm explaining everything to him, and he's like, thank you for your patience, thank you for explaining it to me, and to me, I don't even need to thank you. I feel like I need to do this for everyone so that they understand and we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And if I help them, then it makes the whole process a lot easier.
Yeah. So as a creative director, I feel like, I mean, I only know one creative director so far. But I feel like the number one quality is something that Ty Lopez said on one of his email blasts. I don't know exactly how he said it, so don't quote me. but he was talking about ask somebody for a favor, just a small favor, and if they respond quickly, keep them on your team.
No, that's cool. That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you tell them, can you pick that up for me, or can you help me with this? Can you pass me that pen? And they go, what? For what, man? What do you could reach for it? Then they're not going to help you, and you need to do the same exact thing. You need to look at yourself from that same vision.
Yeah, I definitely been looking at myself in terms of like the little things that bother me every day, like don't bother me as much, just because you're trying to be more aware
Mhm.
and think, oh, I don't even know why I'm getting upset over something really dumb. Like there's so much more to worry about. And
Yeah.
I don't mean like in a broader spectrum, but just in my day-to-day life, I've got another project to work on. I don't have time to be concerned about this.
Yeah.
It's like those people who are mad because there's no parking in the front of the store. Or like, bro, just park at the other side of the parking lot. What's a
Oh,
3-minute
man.
walk?
Yo,
It's better for you to take the 3-minute walk anyways.
I think you saw me at the parking lot.
Why, you-
'Cause
You
I'm the
s-
guy
you
that's like,
circle
oh,
around.
what's going on, man? Like, that's my parking space.
You circle around for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I want that one spot. I'm
Yeah.
like waiting for the guy to get out.
Yeah, but you would get into the store faster.
Oh, yeah.
If you just parked a little bit further and
Yeah.
just walked up.
My dad actually parks further.
Yeah, I don't mind. I
There's
don't
like
mind
parking
further.
spaces right next to the entrance.
Oh, I won't do that.
And then he
but-
like parks all the way at the end.
But
I
I-
think it's like a car dink thing.
Oh, got it.
But he parks really far, and then he takes his walk, and he's like, "This is my exercise."
It just reminds me that I don't like cars, so I hate driving.
But didn't you tell me one time you wanted to go to LA?
I hate driving. I love LA.
Yeah.
I hate driving. That has nothing to do with driving. The traffic in LA sucks.
Yeah. Okay,
But-
there we go. Yeah, the traffic. Because every time I go to LA and I try to pick up like merchandise or stuff for
You gotta
my
time it
brand.
right.
Oh my gosh,
You
the
gotta
traffic.
time it right. Don't ever go west in the morning or east at night, and you'll be fine. Don't ever go west in the morning or east at night. Go west in the afternoon. Go east in the morning.
And you're tuning in with Tips by Daniel.
This is traffic. This is the traffic report with Daniel.
Oh, where we get past traffic in a creative way.
Yeah.
So, back to failure. How do you think those failures? It's a completely different field. We're talking about traffic, but how do you think that those? How do you feel that those failures have affected your career now? Like what lessons have they taught you? To sum it up, just in a sentence or two. Like what was the biggest lesson that you learned from that order? Was it not don't take orders that you can't handle, or was it take things and then handle it?
It's honestly take things and then handle it. You'll never have a starting point if you don't start, and that's kind of it. If you get going, that's it. I mean, if you just start, you're gonna suck. You're
Mhm.
gonna suck in comparison to where you'll end up.
Yep.
But if you never start, you'll never know what sucks. You'll never know what to bounce off of.
Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't work. I'll never do this again. You'll never get that if
Yeah.
you don't at least try it.
Start somewhere.
Yeah. I was reading a book this morning, and they were talking about how in armies and in militaries, when they do planning, they have I forgot what commander's intent is what it's called,
Hmm.
because they're very they'll get their plans down to the like bottom level guy and the screw that he's turning,
Yeah.
and they'll plan everything out really, really well. But they're also aware that when the plan gets into motion, when you finally see the enemy or the opponent or the obstacle,
Yeah.
you're not really sure what that looks like or what variables you're going to get from that obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
And they say most of the time when you make this plan, when you get to that opponent, obstacle, whatever,
Yeah.
the plan falls apart.
Mm.
It'll never go according to plan. You'll never be on time. You'll never get everything correct. So they have this overall encompassing mission statement at the top of all their plans, which is commander's intent. And basically, if the commander wants you to take the hill, you just find a way to take the hill. You don't have to do it exactly the way they told you. That's their recommendation, but they're fully aware that things change and you have to as well.
Sounds like an acting script.
Yeah.
It's
like improv.
Yeah, well, like you have a written thing, and then
Yeah.
it's like, do this, but
Yeah.
if you feel another thing, or if you have to adjust, then do that.
Don't spend too much. I mean, plan, but don't spend too much time on it, and don't spend too much time worried about whether or not the plan is ready. It's probably never ready.
I think I spent my first 21 years planning.
As a baby.
Pretty,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like I just spent my entire time overthinking,
Yeah.
and at like
Well,
I'm 22 right now, and I mean I've created things, but not with I guess I just thought too much about what other people thought. So then I changed my art to be something that I thought that they would like, not what I liked.
been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like the first time that I'm able to just create something.
If they
And
like
say,
it, cool. And if they don't, no.
F it.
But you'll find
It's there.
You'll find that most people aren't necessarily concerned about whether or not they like it.
Yeah.
Most people won't tell you, dude, I loved it, blah blah blah. They'll just say, wow, like they're impressed by you even doing anything about it. There's a lot of people that are just like, whoa, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't like a lot of what I do or
Yeah.
don't really care for it, but
Mhm.
they're just impressed or they appreciate that someone is just putting plans into motion and isn't
Mhm.
sitting there thinking about those plans all day.
Yeah. I used to work for a company. It was in a warehouse scenario. I
Mhm.
won't say the company name.
Okay, I think I know.
I think you know the name, but I
Yeah.
won't say the name
Okay.
because I don't think I'm allowed to say the name. But what I told the guys in the back, because they were all sitting there and there was some hiding, there were, everybody was kind of doing their own thing. But I told my assistant, because I was supposed to reorganize the warehouse and have it more of a functioning, I guess, schedule, routine. And what I told my assistant was, if you're running fast enough past people, they're going to look at you so confused, and you're going to watch their body motion slightly start running with you because
yeah.
they're nervous of,
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you running towards something or away from something?
Humans
But
do that. Yeah.
that's the way, like if I see someone run, if you see a crowd of people running past you,
I might
and
run
then
with them.
you like look forward and you'll probably turn around and start running.
I mean, like,
And
your odds are better to probably run with that crowd.
You should probably run
You
with
should
it.
probably run with that crowd.
And like I see that with friends too, like chasing your dreams and running towards something and being so passionate about something, they start looking at you crazy, but at the same time you look at their feet and they're starting to jog.
Yeah, or they'll follow your. It's like when you go to the gym and you start going every day, and then you notice the people around you start
Yeah.
going with you, or they start going more frequently, or your conversations start to be about that.
Yeah.
I think part of it is that changing the pace of things, and the other
It's
part
momentum.
of it is changing the pace of your life.
Ooh.
And the people who can keep up or want to keep up with you will, and those who do not probably won't.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to hold on to those characters that push you forward and that accept your failures. I actually am going to admit something on this podcast. I was actually afraid to ask you to help me out with designing Woody's Journey and Shut Up and Fail, because I was afraid that I was failing you too many times, because I've created multiple companies and I've hired you for different projects.
Right.
And it is scary to tell somebody, so I failed on that one. Can you help me on this one? And it's a lot of it was in my head. I would
Yeah,
say
it is in your head, yeah.
99, 100% it was in my head.
Because if you told me tomorrow, dude, podcast is over. We're starting.
Which might happen.
Yeah. Dude, we're starting a airplane company. I'm in.
Dude,
I'm
that's
in.
awesome.
Let's do it.
And
I'm
that's how
in.
you know that's
Yeah.
your real friend, or that's
Yeah.
the person that you need side by side. They're going to be running with you no matter what. And
Yeah.
the rest, let them stay there. They're going to,
Well,
they'll be in the same spot in 20 years.
I will say whatever it is that
McDonald's.
you're doing, however many new ideas you come up with, I'm always in, because you seem like the character of someone who is passionate about something or is just passionate about doing something.
Yeah.
If it doesn't click, cool. But if it takes trying everything for you to find that thing,
Mm-hmm.
fuck it.
It's about being an inventor.
Yeah.
How many inventions do you have to do in order to create the one? Like there's thousands. Like you look at an inventor, think about how much failure they have to go through.
Well,
And
and
then
all
they get-
all the prototypes they have to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. How many Photoshop documents do you have that are color one? And then you save it and then you do another one.
Mine are all titled as XXDFG. Da, da, da,
I
like-
hope we get to a point where those documents can just like you can just hit save. It's the same document, but it's version 1, version 2, and then you can just kind of like pick which
that would
one
be
you want to
so
go back
amazing
to.
for the creative industry.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Steal it, Adobe. Do it.
And do it for video.
Yeah,
If
do
you
it for
ever
everything.
listen to this, do it for video because you have different versions, or you have an iPhone version, or anyways.
Don't do autosave. Do like
Oh yeah, what the heck is?
version save.
Well, sometimes it saves me.
Photoshop doesn't have autosave, but I like Word, Microsoft Word,
Yeah,
Google Docs.
Premiere.
Yeah. Does Premiere autosave?
Yeah, they have autosave every once in a while, and it usually saves me like crazy. Where I could have lost like a bunch of files.
When I was in the 3rd grade, I wrote a full page paper and I spent all day on it, and I was so hyped. I was so happy that I finished it. Right? Okay.
I think I know what's gonna happen.
But okay, part I was a little kid, so part of me was like excited. I think I like jumped for joy. I don't know what I did. I kicked the computer.
Ooh,
It shut off.
what happens next?
I open it. All that's there is,
No.
is the title.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was upset.
Oh, that should have been your failure.
No, I don't know. Like I
I'm
don't know
just
what
kidding.
all I learned from that was
Oh.
like save. But then when autosave came around, I was like, hell yeah! And then I was like, dude, I know you were able to do this,
Yeah,
and you just didn't make it
You
part of your
guys-
software, Microsoft.
you kept it from us. Okay, this is the thing about us. We're very much alike, so we always drift into random conversations.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let me reel
Let's-
it. Let me
let's-
reel it back in.
Let's
So-
close it
So
out.
going
Let's feel
back
it.
from your failure,
Yeah.
and then realizing that it was not really a failure, it was a lot in your head, and you know, I went through the same things. What advice would you give a young person, or a person starting out, even if they're 50 years old, starting out in the same career that you're in? Like, what advice would you give them?
Knowledge is power. Look everything up. If you have a question, look it up and find the answer. And the number one piece of advice is just get going. Just start. Start today.
Start
right
today.
now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask a very hard question, and I want you to be 100% honest. Do not hold back. Do not hold back. So, what advice would you give me as I continue producing work for Woodie's Journey and Shut Up and Fail?
Be consistent and stick to it. And I know you'll succeed. You'll see it through. If you do this every day, or well, not every day. Well, if you do this every day, that'd be tight. But I imagine you don't have
should.
the ability to do it every day. If you do this once a week and you stick on what you're doing with consistency, you'll see results. And you'll get what you're looking for.
Thank you.
And always keep looking for it.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to apply that. And hold me accountable.
I will.
Hold me accountable. If this
Well,
doesn't,
we
or
could-
it will continue, but if it somehow doesn't, email blast the hell out of me. Call me.
I'm gonna write a fake article and send it to you. This guy's
Oh.
a sham, and only you'll be the only one that gets it.
I think I'll start crying.
I hope you do.
Oh man.
I hope it inspires you to keep going.
What if I? No, I'm not gonna say it.
Oh,
Okay. Anyways, so 2 more questions. If you could sum up your career in one word so far, like what you've been through, in one word, what would you choose? What word would you choose?
Persistent. Just always going for it, never stopping, always on to the next thing.
That's like 10, 11 words.
I know persistent was the word.
Okay.
I was just explaining it.
I'm just messing with you, man. And another thing, it's not really a question, but plug yourself. Tags,
Oh, okay.
ats, websites,
I'm-
everything. Your friends, your
This-
homies, your
this-
mother.
Oh, this is really easy. I'm at Daniel Freshbot on everything.
Let's go.
Because no one else wanted it. And then DanielFreshbot.com. There's a lot of other websites you can go to. TelAvivSound.com. I already plugged that one. WeAreNotForSale.com. I have a great friend, Adrian, who I hope you'll have on here later. It's,
Maybe.
AGofficial.com is his website. And then, I don't know. If I didn't plug you in, I'm going to retweet you. So I sent them to my Twitter.
You should have plugged me in. www www.woodielanderos.com. Okay, guys. Well, that's the end of this show.
They know.
I know.
Yeah.
Goodbye, guys.
Okay.
So thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this show. Shut up and fail. Please, please, please like, comment, subscribe. That's the only way that we're going to be able to continue doing this. If I don't see results,
Hold him accountable, people.
hold me accountable. And comment something good too. Be like,
Write a review.
Fix this.
Write
I
a
want
review.
that. I want to get better. I want to like put myself out there. Anyways, I'm extending the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Later. Peace. Hasta luego. Fuego. Fuego.